even with cheese, this is a crime against humanity. My followers from Mexico said that I had to try their beans on toast. This is molletes. Let's see what it's hitting for. I start this dish out by melting down some lard, and to that I add some finely minced garlic. I'm letting this cook really slow on like medium low heat because I don't want the garlic to burn and I want the flavor to really infuse. I literally can't be asked to cook today. So I'm making refried beans from a can, but I am going to doctor it up really well. I really don't want to mess this one up because I need to maintain my lifetime invitation to the quinceañeras, the baptisms, the first communions, etc., etc. So I'm going to season this one up really well. I'm going to go in first with some adobo, then I'm going to go in with a lot of onion powder. I did not want the beans to have the texture of fresh onion, so I'm going to really compensate with the onion powder. I'm going to go in with some cumin. It's a very important Mexican spice. It gives a really good flavor. I find that my meat chopper is also helpful with breaking down refried beans. I let the beans simmer on low while I make the pico de gallo. I start on my salsa by cutting my tomatoes in half and then deseeding them. Deseeding tomatoes always reminds me of the time I was making Mexican food with my grandmother, and then she went off on me because I deseeded the tomatoes and she told me I had a lot of nerve wasting her good food like that. I knew she grew up as a sharecropper in a brand of poverty that I couldn't fully understand, but like tomato seeds? Really? I have very strong feelings about food waste myself, but like tomato seeds? Practice? You talking about a practice? I add my diced tomatoes to a bowl and then I cut my cilantro. Don't forget to put a dish towel underneath your cutting board. As you can see, I forgot to put one underneath mine and my cutting board is rocking all over the place, but don't be like me, be better than me. Fun fact about me, I am completely fluent in Spanish, but only if the topic is food. But if it's any other topic in the world, I can't speak Spanish any better than Hilaria Baldwin. But in all seriousness, unless the topic is food, no entiendo para nada. Háblame en inglés, por favor. No entiendo. But I have to admit, like, I'm impressed by her commitment to the bit, because what did she call these? Cebollos? Baby girl. She really acted like she could not remember the English word for onions, but it's like, boo, you clearly couldn't remember the Spanish word either. Son las cebollas, mi amor. Cebollas. Repitas, por favor. Repitas. I removed the seeds from these jalapenos off camera to control the spice level, and then I'm going to dice them up really fine. You can leave the seeds and the membrane in if you want it spicy, but personally I like my cooked salsa to be spicy, and then when it comes to like a pico, I like it to be mild. I add my diced jalapeno to the bowl, then I squeeze in some lime juice. That's jugo de limón, Hilaria. You might want to write that down. Last but not least, I sprinkle in some kosher salt. After I get all of my ingredients in there, I give it a good stir and then I put it in the fridge and let it chill out until I'm done with the rest of the dish. I grab my bread knife and cut my bolillos in half horizontally. Fresh bolillos are really easy to find here in LA. If nobody's making fresh bolillos in your neck of the woods, you are really missing out. And I'm not talking about bread. I brush butter all over my griddle, and in hindsight, I wish I had added a little bit more butter than this. Then I put my bolillos face down on the griddle, and while the cut side begins to get toasted, I go ahead and slap on some butter on the back side. I did add extra butter to the back side to compensate for the lack of butter on the cut side, but if I had it to do over again, I definitely would add more butter to the cut side and less to the back side. After a couple of minutes of toasting on the cut side, I give them a flip with my hands, and I don't have an abuelita, but I feel like if I did, she would judge me if I used a spatula. I used the back of a large spoon to create a moat where I'm going to add my refried beans. The toast would be a lot prettier if I had added more butter, but live and learn and then get loves. After I'm done pressing all of my divots, I fill them up with those refried beans that have been simmering on low this entire time, and then after that I top it all with cheese. This is queso Oaxaca. You can use mozzarella, but I can't because my imaginary abuelita would disown me. So after I get all of my molletes completely covered in cheese, I go ahead and put it in the oven. This oven was preheated to 400 degrees and I let it go for about 5 minutes, just until the cheese is melted and bubbly. After they're done, I top them with my salsa, and I'm also going to top them with avocado. Now this is what I call a delicacy. It's quick, it's easy, it's affordable, it has fresh fruits and vegetables, and most importantly, it has flavor. Now you guys take notes.